everybody, welcome back to Cottoverdi. My name's Annette and today is a super exciting day because we have finally prepped this bed behind me, which is going to be my grass border, and we're ready to plant it up, and I've got loads of exciting plants. So I'm going to lay them all out, move a couple of plants and then talk you through what I've chosen for this border, and hopefully you're going to see my vision come to life. So Richard is currently trying to dig out my giant scabious. In my youth, planted 3 here really close together, and what they're doing is they're ruining this brachyglottis. So I need to move them, and I want to spread them out into the grass border so that we don't have 3 in a big clump, because that is too big a clump. They're planted far too closely together there. If he can't get them out, I've got loads of seedlings that I can plant anyway. I just don't want them here anymore, so if they die, they die. This is a Salix flamingo, which is an ornamental willow, and it's going to grow to 2.5 meters by 2.5 meters. So I've kind of spaced it out quite far, and it's absolutely gorgeous because when the leaves are young, they've got these pink tips to them. Older leaves tend to be predominantly green, although they do have splashes of white. But I think that's going to be a really lovely splash of pink there. So this plant right in front here, which is, close to where Rich is planting the willow. This is a gorgeous flowering cherry that we put in last year, and it's called Prunus kojanomai, which is a Fuji cherry. Eventually it should get to 2 meters high by 2 meters wide, but it's going to take 20 years to get there. But it's got these gorgeous, perfect cherry blossom flowers between March and April, and it's got these really intricate zigzaggy branches. This is where we planted the Cornus dogwood previously. Just behind it here, and over in this corner, this plant here, these are both spireas. They're called Spirea douglasii, and that's also a rose spirea or a steeple bush, and it does spread with, suckering roots, but you can easily manage that. I mean, I've had these plants for years and they really haven't spread very much at all, but it's got these lovely feathery pink flower spikes in the summer, and that's why I love it. I think it's just a gorgeous plant. I do actually need to deadhead last year's flowers on that one. So where Richard is at the moment, these lovely fluffy plants here are called Stipa tenuissima. It's fairly readily available. It's an angel hair or ponytail grass, and you can see how sort of wispy and ponytail like they are. It's got lovely yellow green leaves and then these fluffy plumes of silvery green flowers, and they mature to this lovely buff colour, which is very autumnal. And I've planted 6 over there in mass, and I've planted them fairly close together because they are only going to grow to 60 centimetres high and 30 centimetres tall, and I kind of just want like a mass over on the edge over there. And then interplanted with those, I've planted some more of the iris that I was planting a previous weekend. These ones are called Sultan's Palace, and they're velvety maroon with a copper throat, and I think they're just going to look really pretty in amongst the grasses, and they're going to grow to 75 centimetres tall, so they'll be slightly taller than the grasses, and they'll just be popping up. I've also put some Verbena bonariensis intermingled in there as well. In fact, I've spread it throughout the bed over there because I think it's just going to look really nice with the grasses. I love the little purple flower heads popping up, and those are little seedlings that we pulled out when we were doing the patio bed, when we completely revamped it the other weekend. I had absolutely loads over there. It self-seeds so readily in my garden. I've also got some miscanthus in this bed. So there's a miscanthus here, and here, these grey pots. This one's called Miscanthus sinensis gracilimus, and it's going to grow to about 1.3 metres tall by 1.2 metres wide, which is why I've kind of spread them out a little bit to give them room to grow and form their own individual spots. It's relatively compact, but it's this lovely statuesque grass with really fine foliage and flowers. It's going to flower between August and September. It's got these lovely slender leaves which have like this arching habit and a white stripe down the centre, and the flowers, when it flowers, they're very striking silky brown tassels that kind of dangle. They're absolutely gorgeous, but apparently it doesn't flower every year, or if it's not situated in a happy spot. I'm really hoping that this border here, where it's going to get so much sun, is going to be good for these plants. So these two clods of earth here and one over in the far corner over there, those are Cephalaria gigantea, which I had planted in a spot down here, and we've dug them up and moved them because I think they really were in the wrong spot, and they form these quite large mounds. The leaves are huge. Actually, looking at that, that's planted way too closely to the other plants. I'm going to have to move it. So we've just moved the Cephalaria gigantea to here. Got one here, and one over in the far corner over there. And they get absolutely enormous. They get to a good 8 foot tall in my garden, but they are so gorgeous, and the bees love them. The flowers normally have 2 or 3 bees on each one, and I just love the way the stems and the flower heads just sway in the breeze. I think it's going to be a really nice complement to all the grasses, and I think it's just going to be a lovely spot in the middle of the border, and hopefully the leaves are going to have enough room now not to shade anything out. What Richard has just done there is he has split a sanguisorba called lilac squirrel. I bought a large pot so that I knew I'd be able to split it. They are going to be small plants this year, but they will grow. They're going to grow to 1 metre tall by 60 centimetres wide. So we've spaced them about 50 centimetres wide because I want it to be a lovely clump. But the reason it's called lilac squirrel is because on the end of these erect stems, it's got these fluffy, dangly, purple-pink flower heads, and they just look like squirrels' tails. They're going to flower between June and September, and I think it's going to be absolutely gorgeous there. In this pot here, I've got an angelica. This angelica is called Vicar's Mead. It's going to grow to 1.5 metres tall, and it will flower between August and September. It's actually a biennial or a short-lived perennial, but it should sell seed, which is why I went to the trouble of buying it. I tried to sell angelica seeds for the last few years and I have not been successful, so I have succumbed and bought one plant. Anyway, this plant has got lovely purple leaves, and the umbels are either white or pale pink, and again it's going to be a lovely nice tall spot in my border here, in amongst the grasses and the dogwood and all the other shrubs that I've got here. So the other thing that I want to do is I want to dig up some of the Nautia macedonica that I've got here. I've got quite a large area with quite a few plants, and I want to intermingle those in amongst all the grasses as well. I think they're going to look really pretty. Nautia macedonica grows to 75 centimetres tall, and it's got these lovely deep crimson pinkish flowers, and I really loved this. I had a really big area of it, as you can see. I had a large area of it last year over here, but I think it's going to look really good spread out a bit more. The little bit of green foliage that we can see here behind this miscanthus is a chrysium, and this one is called Chrysium rivulare atrapurpureum. It's a brook thistle, and it's going to grow to 1.2 metres tall, 60 centimetres wide, and it's got these gorgeous deep crimson thistles on long tall stems, and it will flower between July and August. It will actually tolerate part shade, but it's best in full sun, so I've plonked it there where it's going to get sun from the south all day long, and hopefully I'm going to have some lovely purple thistles in amongst the grasses. I've been talking so long that Richard has practically finished planting everything, but we do have some bulbs to plant. So in this border I'm also going to be planting some Gladiolus bizanitus, which is the little purple glads that I was planting the other weekend in another bed. These are going to flower between May and June. They'll flower at about 60 centimetres tall, and they're this lovely purpley magenta colour. The other thing I'm going to plant in this bed are some flowers called Ixia. I think that's how you pronounce it. Anyway, this is a mixed collection of Ixia. I do prefer to have colours that I've chosen, but this mixed collection is pink, yellow, orange and white, and I think it's going to go really well with the grasses. These are also called African corn lilies or wand flowers, and the reason they're called wand flowers is because they're these sort of cheerful starry shaped flowers with bright centres, kind of like a little wand. They're going to grow to 60 centimetres tall, and they're going to flower between May and June, and I think they are also going to look gorgeous, planted at the front of the border in amongst the grasses. I'll just show you the bed from this angle. So here we've got a giant scabious. This is the Spirea douglasii. This is the Salix flamingo. This is another Spirea here, and this is the cornus removed the other day. These are the gorgeous Stipa tenuissima, interplanted with Iris, Sultan's Palace. There's the purple thistle just behind. There are some Nautia dotted around, along with some Verbena bonariensis. And here, and here, that's the Miscanthus. Over here we've got the Lychnis, and a lot more of the Nautia macedonica, and of course the other two giant scabious that we moved. This plant here is a Cotinus. It's going to grow quite big over the years, but at the moment it's really tiny, so I can afford to plant annuals and things around it. And of course I am going to be putting some dahlias in this bed when my dahlias are ready. It's been so nice to be outside in the sunshine today, not a drop of rain. I haven't even got a jumper on. It's been a lovely, lovely temperature, the perfect day to plant up this bed. And I absolutely cannot wait to see how it looks through the seasons and how it grows and how the plants mature. And I am incredibly excited to finally have some sort of a grass border. It's not huge, but for me, this is something that I've wanted for a while, and I just love the movement of grasses. I love to be able to interplant them with pops of colour. I really hope you've enjoyed the video today. If you have, please do give it a like. It really does help me. And subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more videos like this, or if you'd like to see how this border looks in the summer. I'll definitely be doing some tours, and in fact next autumn as well. It should look incredible, and through the winter, actually all seasons. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you all next time.